Alright guys, JT with JT Gaming here, and today we will be reviewing the Remnant from the Ashes DLC, Subject 2923. So this DLC takes place about a year after the events of the main story, and it's going to give you a chance to finally, once and for all, take care of the root. This is the final DLC for Remnant from the Ashes, so here's hoping for a second one. The new content you're going to get here is probably about, 4 to 6 hours if you're just going to run through it one time. Maybe a little bit less if you do normal and you have a pretty fleshed out build, played through it on hard. But yeah, about 4 to 6 hours, and that's without rerolls. So if you're one of those people that wants to get everything, you'll probably have 10 plus hours here, and that's just in the new area to get all the new equipment and everything like that. So looking at it, you have one new biome in Racem, which is like the main biome for the new story, but you also have 2 extra locations on Earth, in Ward Prime, and essentially like a little farming village that you go to in the beginning. There's 6 new bosses, 8 new weapons, 2 new armor sets, and a ton of new rings and amulets. Plus there's more traits, and there's a decent amount of mods available. With all these new weapons, the armor, the amulets, the rings, everything, the mods, a lot more builds seem to be available now. I'm not sure how viable they will be, but there is a lot of elemental type mods that you get, mostly cold ones, since Racem is fairly winter Iceland. So I'm gonna see how they work and how stacking up, maybe if you play co-op, if you can stack up all of these effects on enemies and bosses, how quickly it'll take them down. But for the most part, if you're gonna play on normal or hard difficulty, builds are a lot more viable. Feel free to explore with some of those new ice mods and things like that. With the 6 new bosses, the design on the bosses is really well done, even though some of them can be quite frustrating. It's no longer when you're fighting Shroud or Gorefist and they're just spawning ads every 3 seconds and you're getting killed by all of the ads chasing you around the map while you're just trying to fight the boss. It's not really an issue in the DLC, and it's nice to see. So you're fighting the bosses. Sometimes there's 2 bosses, most of the time there's 1. They do summon some ads, not all of them do, but they're here and there. But it's not like a unending wave that just kind of keeps you off balance while you're trying to fight the boss. So I think they're really well done. The story is pretty well concluded. There are a couple new NPCs that are pretty interesting, but realistically you're getting a new area, a ton of new bosses, a ton of new weapons and armor, mods, the whole shebang for about $10. And honestly, I can't see anyone thinking it's not worth it, especially if you're a Remnant from the Ashes fan. You have new areas, new builds to try out, and it'll keep everything kind of fresh. So even if you actually want to go back through old content, you'll have those new armor sets and those new weapons and all that new stuff to kind of use while you're doing it. I know I have frustratedly given up on some pieces of equipment and some mod traits and things like that, just because re-rolling the game and trying to get the stars to align for you to get some of those pieces can be frustrating. But I think it's a lot more fun once you have the ability to test out new builds and new armor and new weapons while you're going through it to kind of keep everything fresh. And I think that's what this DLC does. It keeps everything a little bit fresh, and it brings you back to Remnant with new options, new design, and lets you kind of enjoy what you loved about the game before. It's a nice kind of way to come back and conclude the story so that they can hopefully focus on a second game. Anyways, it's $9.99. You're going to get 10 plus hours out of it. If you love Remnant from the Ashes, if you've played it before, you want to finish out the story, you want the new weapons and armor, and you want to just kind of get back into Remnant and have some fresh stuff to play, I recommend this DLC. It's $10, 10 plus hours. It's a ton of fun. I really don't see why you wouldn't do it. Plus, it includes that story for you, so if they do end up making a second one, you won't be lost with what's going on. Those are my thoughts on Subject 2923, and if you like this review and want to see more like it, feel free to like and subscribe. If you want to ask any follow-up questions, feel free to comment below, or come hang out when I'm live on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday night, plus Saturday mornings. Twitch link down below. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.